So take a moment to get set up. I like a wide-legged stance. Feels a little bit better on my hips. And then if you have any props, pillows, blocks, you can always bring one underneath your chest. And then we're gonna reach those arms forward. Take a moment to crawl your fingertips forward just a little bit so you can feel your lats expanding, your shoulders opening up. Hold in that expanded space for a moment. And then go ahead and let everything just rest and melt into the floor. And once you're there, let's take 3 big cleansing breaths. We're gonna take a nice big deep inhale in through the nose. Hold at the top of your inhale. Sip in little extra amounts. Hold as long as you possibly can, and then when you can't stand it anymore, take a big, deep, heavy sigh, make some noise, exhale out. The mouth. Let's do 2 more of those. Again, big, deep, juicy inhale in through the nose. Feel your ribs expand, chest expand. Inhale, hold at the top of your inhale. Feel it press against your collarbones. Hold as long as you can. Sip in little extra amounts. Big, heavy sigh out. Whatever you need to do, let that shit go. One more time. Big, deep inhale in through the nose. Feel yourself get more and more expanded and expansive. Sip and hold and sip and hold. And then let it out. We're now going to work on the second half of the breath that helps us slow our breathing and heart rate down. So now we're going to try to elongate our exhale, either by visualizing that we're blowing through some tiny coffee straws, or any kind of vibrational breath helps. So humming, will just help elongate that exhale. So we're gonna take as long as we can to exhale, emptying from the collarbones through the chest and the belly very last. Squeezing your belly button into your spine, wringing out every last drop of your exhale by engaging through your core, and hold in that emptiness. Then deeply inhale, fill up the low belly, feel that rise up. Ribs start to splay open, chest expands. Inhale, inhale, hold at the top of your inhale, and sip. Each one of these breaths is an opportunity for you to notice and then make micro adjustments. Choosing to go a little bit deeper, a little bit slower. Choosing to soften and surrender to this moment. So let's just do some nice visualization from top of the head to the toes to let go of any kind of tension or tightness that you may be holding on to. And that's not just physically, it can also be mentally, emotionally. So when you are ready, start to visualize a bright, golden, honey, delicious light that kind of takes the effect of freshly fallen snow. So it's kind of like holographic and glittery. And as we inhale, we invite in this beautiful, golden, delicious honey light. And every area that it touches, we invite in softening and warmth and relaxation. So today, let's actually start at our fingertips since they're reached out in front of you. Just start to invite in softening and warmth into your fingertips and let that ooze down your hands into your wrists, up your forearms, your elbows, your biceps and triceps, into those beautiful shoulders, even in your armpits, across your collarbones, up into your neck. Let's really soften through the jaw. Maybe take a horsey breath. Let those lips flap around a little bit, relax through your jaw. Let your tongue drop into the bottom of your mouth. Let your teeth part slightly, maybe even your lips. Soften up into your cheekbones, into your temples. Soften around your ears, soften all the way around your scalp. Soften across your brow and your eyes. We're going to come back to your collarbones, soften across your upper back and let that spread down into your mid-back, down your chest and breasts, into your belly and your mid to low back, your sacrum, your hips, your pelvis, into your quads and your hamstrings and your glutes, down into your knees, shins, calves, ankles, feet, and toes. Take a few more of these big, deep, full, and complete breaths. These parasympathetic nervous system breaths that actually help us tap into our stress response and choose rest and recovery and growth in a world that continually tries to pull us outward into do land, into our productivity. We can choose to be here with ourselves instead, letting the past stay as a memory, letting the future be a dream, and choosing to stay connected with every experience we have in our practice today. All right, let's get moving. When you're ready, I just want you to start to breathe and move in a way that feels organic and intuitive to your body. We've been in child's pose for a while, so you might want to come up onto hands and knees, or maybe let your booty come up into the air. Keep breathing nice and deeply, and literally take as long as you want, but do meet me eventually in hands and knees. All right, and we're gonna take a moment to stabilize our bodies. So I want you to think about this midline portion being frozen and engage in your core a little bit. And so anytime we're engaging in our core, we're gonna breathe more powerfully and more shallow. It's gonna be a quicker inhale, a quicker exhale. You can exhale out the mouth or the nose, doesn't matter. Spread your fingers out wide, make sure everything feels stacked. Shoulders, elbows, wrists in a line, knees directly underneath your hips. And we're going to focus on our scaps. So again, keeping your midline nice and frozen. I want you to squeeze your scaps together, let your chest drop through. If you want, you can tilt your chin up just a little bit. And then on your exhale, really try to pull your scaps away, your shoulder blades away from one another. Get space between those shoulder blades, tuck the chin. Again, inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, tilt the chin up. Exhale, round those shoulder blades out, pull them apart, press into the floor. We got one more. Inhale, squeeze those shoulder blades together, chest drops through. Exhale, round it out. Beautiful. Now let's go ahead and get the full spine. So when you're ready, go ahead and drop your belly button, squeeze the shoulder blades, reach through your jaw up towards the ceiling, and exhale, tilt the chin, round out, tuck the tailbone. Let's do two more of those. Big inhale, arch the back, squeeze the shoulder blades and look up. And exhale, tuck and round. One more. Move with your breath pace. Okay, take a moment to draw some big circles with your hips and let the rest of your body just kind of follow in a direction that feels good. Maybe getting the full neck involved, doing a nice head roll. Taking nice big breaths. Keep on going. I'm going to mess with the music for a second. All right. Keep breathing nice and deeply. Go both directions. If you haven't switched directions, go ahead and go the other way. The playlist I wanted disappeared. It's fine. All right. And when you're ready, I want want you to start to do some spinal waves. So I'll try to talk you through this if you haven't done them before with me. So you're going to basically arch the back, pull your tailbone towards your heels, and then you're going to tuck the tailbone under and start to round out as you come forward. So we're just going through a little spinal wave, coming forward and back. Here it is. And just really start to channel some beautiful ocean waves using your breath to help guide you. So inhaling, coming back, exhale. And each time I want you to try to get a little bit deeper with your push forward so we can eventually roll into a nice gentle back bend. Rolling the shoulders back, pulling them down, using your glutes to press your hips open towards the floor. Reach through the jaw, open up. And then when you're ready, we're gonna tuck that tailbone back under, wave it back. So we're gonna do this 2 more times. Take a few little undulations through your full spine. Until it feels good to then come down, drop those hip flexors towards the floor, open up through the chest, pull the shoulder blades back and down, reach through the jaw. And then whenever you're feeling like you want to move on, 1 more time, 1 more round. And seriously, take as many spinal waves as you want. Again, when we're in our back bends, you're going to want to roll those shoulder blades back and down. All right, rock on. Go ahead and press it back into child's pose for a second, all the way. Let's take a little side bend. So go ahead and slide your hands, just like sit up onto your heels and slide your hands to your lap. We're going to take a nice big inhale, reach those arms out, around and up, reach through the fingertips, and then take a nice side bend. I don't care which direction you go. But as you reach, think about pressing this hip into the floor as if someone were pushing your hip and gluing you into the floor, and then really reach through your fingertips, getting that full side body stretch. Beautiful. Go ahead and inhale, come through center, and other side. Again, thinking about someone pushing your hip into the floor and then someone pulling on your wrist or your fingertips. Really get that full expansion. All right, nice work. Come back onto hands and knees. Find your stance. And we're going to come into a tabletop position. So go ahead and reach your, I'm gonna call it your back arm and your front leg. So opposite arm and leg are gonna reach up. If you're having trouble balancing, you might wanna try to tuck the toes under of this stabilizing leg. And then I want you to either point or flex through the lifted leg, of the foot of the lifted leg. And take a moment to imagine again if someone could pull on your wrist and then on your ankle. What would that feel like? And I want you to do that in the body. So feel like someone's stretching you. Really reach through your fingertips. Reach to the leg. Lift that leg a little bit higher. And on an exhale, go ahead and come under. Crunch elbow to knee. Inhale. Expand and lengthen. Exhale, crunch under. One more. Inhale, lengthen. Go ahead and drop your hand and then bend the knee of the leg that's lifted. We're gonna do some little donkey kicks. So we're gonna come straight up into the air, trying to kick your heel like we're trying to kick a hole in the ceiling straight up. Get that glute up. If you wanna make this a little bit more challenging for your core, tuck your toe under and hover this standing knee and do a couple more. Woo! Awesome. Go ahead and bring that foot under. Shake it out a little bit. Just back to hands and knees. And let's do the other side. So go ahead and reach back leg and front arm. So again, imagine someone were pulling on your wrist and your ankle. Expand through your fingertips and through your heel or your toes. Lift that back leg up just a little bit more, engage through your glute. And when you're ready, we're gonna exhale and crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Move with your breath pace. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to crunch. One more, inhale, lengthen. Go ahead and drop your hand, bend your back knee, and do some of those little donkey kicks. Get your glute engaged, lift straight up, kick, kick, kick. And then if you want to make it a little bit spicier, curl the toes under, hover that knee just slightly off the floor. Woo, gorgeous work. Okay, from here, make your way to downward facing dog. Take some big breaths. Woo, shake it out. Literally shake your head out a little bit, side to side, front to back. Do some horsey breath. Pedal those feet out. When you're ready, find some stillness in your feet. Really press your heels into the floor. You're welcome to softly bend the knees. It's totally cool to have a bent knee in down dog. And we're gonna open our fingers up nice and wide. Press into those hands and really take a moment to open our chests and hearts up, pressing our chest towards our quads. Belly button is kind of like folding into the body. Big breaths. All right, go ahead and soften everything up. Inhale, soften your knees, take your gaze forward, and then exhale. Get your feet to your hands, however you like to. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Come high on fingertips or press into your shins. And let's take a moment, pause here. So let your arms just dangle for a second. And pull your shoulders up, back, and down. Feel your lats fire up. Again, relax and shake them out. And then again, pull those shoulders up, back, and down. While this is engaged, go ahead and plant your hands. Step your feet back into high plank. Feel your upper back nice and fired up. I'm going to go through a vinyasa here and your couple options. So let's all go ahead and drop to the knees and untuck the toes, but keep your upper back nice and engaged. We're going to lower down until we're hovering above the floor. Take your gaze forward. And then just go ahead and plop onto your belly. Untuck the toes, maybe lengthen the legs out. You can walk the hands forward or leave them where they're at and just press into a gentle cobra or sphinx pose if you want to be on your forearms. Then you'll come back down onto your belly. Draw those hands underneath your shoulders and you'll press up like one big plank, back up onto your knees, curl the toes under, press into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Let's do that a couple more times and I'll show you different modifications. Inhale, soften your knees, gaze forward. Exhale, feet to hands. Inhale, big halfway lift. Feel the lock and load happen in the upper back. We're going to come straight to our plank. Plant those hands, step back, high plank. Lower to the knees again. This time we're going to chaturanga to hover and we're going to stay hovered. So a little more challenging in the upper body. We're going to press into the tops of the feet. For a moment, find the full hover to press into up dog. So my knees will hover with my chest. Then we press up into upward facing dog. At that point, if you want to drop the knees, you can drop the knees and press back into down dog, or we can roll over the toes into our down dog. And there's a couple different options in between those. You can always lower totally onto the belly, come up, come down, press into a high plank, top of a push-up. There's like different ways to alternate this, but my biggest thing with a vinyasa is go where you feel strong and where you can actually go through the movements instead of fudging them. A lot of people do like this like body wave to get down. I'd rather you come on your knees and just like do a tiny little tricep press so you can build that upper body strength so that eventually you can do like a full tricep press, okay? All right, last time I'm gonna go through the full vinyasa just for shits and giggles. Soften your knees, take your gaze forward, bring your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, lock and load in the upper back and your lats. Plant those hands, step your feet back, high plank. This is the full vinyasa. You'll come high plank to hover plank, chaturanga. Untuck the toes. We're hovering this whole time. Press into the hands, open up, and then roll over those toes or tuck. Woo, down dog. Beautiful work, okay? So whenever I say vinyasa, we're gonna do something to that effect, or you can skip it. That's always an option. Like hanging child's pose. Okay, here we go. Let's soften those knees, take the gaze forward, inhale. Exhale, feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. This time we're gonna stand all the way up, take a big inhale, reach those beautiful arms out, around and up. And then we're gonna interlace our fingers if you want, and we're gonna take a little back bend. So press those hips forward, let your hands drop back behind you. Big breaths. And inhale, just go ahead and come out of it. To then exhale, big swan dive, fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift, lock and load the upper back. Exhale, plant the hands, take yourself through your vinyasa of choice. Meet me in down dog. And then I want you to take yourself through just one more of these sun A's. So bring yourself to the top of the mat. Halfway lift and fold. Stand all the way up to your mountain pose, then take your back bend. And then come out of it. Take another vinyasa and meet me back in down dog. Hoo-wee! Where the hell did my phone go? Not the other one. Oh well, I'll find it in a second. Okay, let's go ahead and warm up our legs. So from down dog, let's go ahead and lift this front leg. It's my left, it might be your right, I don't know. Go ahead and lift it up, bend the knee, and let the weight of your leg just kind of open and twist you. You may want to look underneath that armpit up at the ceiling. Take some big breaths. And then let's go ahead and make some circles with the ankles. So just do some ankle rolls. Couple each direction. Then I want you to do some nice hip circles by drawing a circle with the knee. Or if you want to extend the leg and do a full leg circle, you can do that. But definitely go both directions with your hip circles. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so option one, we're just gonna hang out here with our leg bent and open, okay? Option two, we're gonna go to and through a little side plank, and we're gonna drop back into wild thing. So we're gonna drop that leg behind us. We're gonna press into a nice back bend. Woo! Squeeze those upper back shoulder blades together. And then we'll all twist back around, come into three-legged down dog. Go ahead and set it down, take a second. We'll add on in a moment, but for now I just wanna warm up these legs. So, when you're ready, inhale, let's lift this other leg, the back leg up. Let the knee bend, let the hip open up. Maybe peek underneath that armpit and look up at the ceiling. Just take a few big breaths, let gravity help open up that hip. And then when you're ready, start to draw some ankle circles. Go both directions. And then we have hip circles, either drawing a circle with the knee or the full extended leg. Am I gonna kick anything? No. Whew. All right, after you're feeling nice and warm, we're either gonna stay in this just open, kind of twisted position here. I'm gonna call this scorpion for today, just kind of like a little scorpion here. Or we're gonna flip around, catching ourselves with that foot that was bent and pressing into wild thing. And whether you're in this or just have the hip open, we're gonna plant the hand, unwind, reach back up in a three-legged down dog. For now, go ahead and meet that foot with the other foot. Ooh-wee! All right. Inhale, soften the knees, take your gaze forward. Exhale, bring these feet forward. Take them a little bit wider than normal, and let's go ahead and come down into a Buddha squat. Go ahead and drop those hips for me for a second. I'm gonna turn around for this little part. Okay, so we're in our Buddha squat. Just take a minute. Perfect. Monet, just like rock side to side. Almost think about like drawing tiny circles with your body. Or you can even do little like figure eights. Basically just like get into these ankles. Make sure your toes are part of this game. You can use your elbows to like press your hips open a little bit wider if you want. And let's breathe. That kicked my ass already, so, you know. Whew. So I don't teach a traditional chair pose because I like to activate our glutes more than a traditional chair pose does. So I basically do a hybrid between like a full squat and a chair pose. So from this position, walk your feet in just a little bit more if you can. Bring your arms forward, and I want you to pick your hips up enough so you can feel your quads fire up. So I'm in a nice, deep, juicy squat. You can be out of it more. You can be like here and have your arms up, but still have a wider stance. Then I want you all to think about if you were standing on paper plates or like little discs that could turn, I want you to feel this external rotation happening in your inner thighs and your knees. That should fire up these beautiful glute muscles more. I teach this to all my students, whether they're weightlifters or not. So we're doing this like weird external rotation. You should feel your butt help like lift you up, and then you should maybe get a little bit deeper at that point, yeah? Woo! Spicy. Okay, from here, let's just go ahead and inhale, take a big inhale, stand up. Exhale, we're gonna come back into our chair pose. Hold for a few rounds of breath. On your next exhale, straighten those legs, dive it down, and take yourself through a vinyasa. So inhale, halfway lift, lock and load in the upper back. Exhale, take yourself through your vinyasa. All right, my loves. In, down dog, hang out, take some big breaths. Shake it out, make some noise. I can't see Mary, but I'm gonna guess we're all in down dog now. So let's add on a little bit. So we're gonna start our flow with wild thing if you would like. So we're going to inhale, reach that front leg up. Bend the knee, hold in scorpion, or go ahead and flip yourself into wild thing. Take a few breaths. And then on an inhale, go ahead and plant that hand. Reach your leg back up, three-legged down dog. And then we're gonna exhale with control, like we were trying to kick ourselves in the chest. We're gonna come forward into a lunge. Today we're gonna come into crescent warrior. So we're gonna sweep those arms out, around, and up. Nice deep lunge. Check in with this back foot. Heel should be lifted up and out on top of those tippy toes. Whoo, get nice and deep in the bend in your front knee. If you want to add in a little bit of a back bend, you can. Then we're going to open up to warrior two. Flip that back foot around, press into the pinky toe side edge, arms drop out to a T. Really think about engaging through the upper back, pulling shoulder blades back and down. And core is tight. Okay, we're going to straighten this leg. We're going to inhale into a reverse triangle. So we're going to drop our hand to our back leg, reach that front arm up and over. And then we're going to cartwheel our hands back into a lunge. Drop your back arm down and sweep into a twisted lunge. Option, if you would like, to drop your knee down and do like a dragon catching its own tail. You can keep it active or more passive. I mean, this is a hard stretch too, so. Go ahead and let that go. This is kind of a moment to take a little break, because the last thing we're gonna do, we're actually gonna jump into a balance at this point. So we're gonna use this back leg as a spring, and you're gonna pop yourself up, bringing all your weight onto this front leg. Flex or point the toes of the lifted leg. We're gonna work on our standing splits. And if you have blocks, you might wanna bring one to bring the floor to you. That might be helpful. So you're gonna take the same hand as the standing leg, and we're gonna grab this calf. That's step one. Then we're gonna try to hover this hand either off the floor or the block, even if it's just for a split second. If you're feeling okay with your balance, then maybe join that other hand also to the calf. Woo! And balance is not about perfection, okay? We want to tip out of the pose. We want to fail. That's how we get better at our balance. So push yourself. And when you do fail, just be like, dope, I'm getting better. Sorry, everyone, I think the internet's a little choppy. I apologize if it is. So keep breathing, keep trying. This is the longest we're gonna play in this balancing pose. So find your breath. Find your center. Even with hardship, we can still feel peaceful. We can still soften in our faces. A few more rounds of breath. All right, woo! And then from there, we're just gonna bend the knee, step it back, and you'll vinyasa out of your balance. So from here, you can step back. Maybe some of you want to hover that step back leg. Go ahead and vinyasa to down dog. Kind of a long flow, but don't worry, I'll go over it again. So, other side. Hoo-wee, left leg. And just take a moment to feel the difference between your right and your left leg before, or your front and your back leg. I can tell a huge difference between the side that we just worked on and the one we haven't yet. Just notice that change you created in, I don't know, a couple minutes. Okay, back leg, here we go. Inhale, reach up. And open at the knee. If you want, go ahead and flip around into wild thing. 3 breaths. Inhale, plant the hand, reach that leg back and up. With control, pull that knee forward. Use your core to set your foot down like a ninja. Super quiet and controlled. Inhale, reach up, crescent warrior. Lots of big deep breaths. Check in with this back heel, lift it up over the ball, that foot, maybe get a little bit deeper in your lunge, maybe take it into a back bend. All little micro adjustments. You check in, what do you need? Maybe you need to come out and be more shallow. Here we go, rotate. Press that pinky toe side edge in, arms open up to a T. Roll those shoulders back and down, feel strong in the upper back. These are warrior poses. Imagine having like a shield in your front arm and like a sword here. We want a tight core. We want to feel balance between both feet. All right, inhale. Straighten that front leg, reach the arm up and back. Reverse triangle pose, big breaths. Then we'll cartwheel, bringing the front hand in so we can twist the back arm back, coming to a twisted lunge. Option to drop the knee and catch your tail. Also catch your breath here. Take a couple big, big, deep breaths. When you're ready, you'll release that foot if you have it, or come out of the other pose. Spring this back leg, hop up into our standing splits. So we're gonna hug same hand as standing leg. And then step 2 is to hover these fingertips off the floor. And don't forget, this lifted leg is a big part of the pose. We're trying to extend through this leg and lift it. Feel like energy beams coming out your heel, your toes. If your balance feels okay today, maybe try to bring that hand to match it with the other. Push yourself so you fail and fall out. I can't see all of you, but one of the ways, if you're not falling out, close your eyes. That will definitely push you to a new level of your balance practice. A few more breaths. Okay, let's go ahead and come out of that bad boy. So we're gonna take a big step back and you'll vinyasa from here. All right, and we are coming through the top of the mat in our big, fierce, squatty pose. And we're just gonna do this flow a couple more times and then we'll take it to the floor. So when you're ready, soften the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, feet to hands. Come a little bit wider. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, drop those beautiful booties. Bend your knees. Come into a nice, fierce squat chair pose. Take a few breaths. On an inhale, straighten through the legs, reach up. And then exhale, come back into that squat pose. Few breaths. Exhale, we'll fold you, straighten those legs, dive. Inhale, halfway lift, and take yourself through a vinyasa. All right, babes, we're gonna try to go through this one breath, one movement, but go at your own pace. If you need to hold things longer, go ahead. So when you're ready, inhale, front leg reaches up. And if you want, flip or just hang out with that knee bent. If you're in the back bend, go ahead and come out. Inhale, three-legged down dog. Exhale, step through to the front. Inhale, crescent warrior. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse triangle into our twisted runner's lunge. I'm gonna take a few breaths here before I get into my balance. And then whenever you're ready, we have standing splits. Also, I'm gonna take just a couple breaths, like 3 here. And then when you're ready, step out of it and vinyasa. Whew. All right. Beautiful work, everybody. Other side. Inhale, back leg. Bend and hold or flip. Bring it back around. Three-legged down dog. Exhale, step through. Inhale, crescent warrior. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, cartwheel into our twisted runner's lunge. Maybe take a moment to drop and grab your tail. Whenever you're ready, move on to your standing splits. vinyasa. All right, I'm gonna let y'all fly free for one round. So take yourself through, come up to the top of the mat, into your chair pose. Do as much as whatever you want there. You can even fly your chair pose, turn it into like a toe squat. Lots of options. Start to listen to your intuition, add things in, take things away. Just go through a full round, and then we'll meet in child's pose. We'll do a little bit of core work, and then we'll, yeah. And then we'll stretch. Okay, so have fun. I'll see you in like a couple minutes. Yes. Get it. I'm gonna amend my where we're meeting. Please keep flowing. Don't ever let me interrupt your flow. We're gonna end on our backs doing some kind of core work. I'm just gonna let you fill in the blank. You can chill for a second, but that's where we're gonna kind of hang out. And I'm just gonna watch you beauties flow. we all kind of close to being done? I can't quite tell. Yeah, Mary, if you want to chat me or if you're just good, then we can be good. Okay, we're just going to do a little bit of core work, and then we'll settle into some yummy yin poses and then wrap it up. Okay, cool. Just so all of you know, I don't ever end these on the hour, because it just is what it is. But we'll be close. Okay, so meet me on your buns. And just come into a little comfortable seat. Grab your knees either under or over. And I want you to just take a moment to exaggerate and arch your back, squeeze your shoulder blades, and open up kind of like a cat-cow seated. And now go ahead and round out. One more time. Pull and exaggerate your arch. And then round out. I want you to find a nice neutral spine. You might feel like you're a little bit arching. I want you to pull your shoulder blades back and down and feel supported from the top of your head all the way to your pelvis. And this moves in one line right here. So as we tilt back, nothing should be breaking here. We should be able to keep a nice strong core. So at first, we're just going to use our knees and we're going to bend back. You can be under the knees here as well. If that starts to feel like you're good and you want to make it a little more difficult, we're going to let go of the knees and maybe tilt back a little bit further. If that, you want to amp it up more, then we're going to lift the knees or the feet up off of the floor. Hands hover, or we can bring the hands under the knees. Then, kind of the top option is to extend into a full V-sit pose. You can always ebb and flow between. We're going to hold and breathe. And then I want you to go ahead and plant your hands behind you, fingers pointing towards your feet. And I want you just to sit up as tall as you can and hug your knees into your chest. You'll feel this in your hip flexors a lot, but also hopefully your core. So squeeze into a little ball. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then we're going to inhale, elongate. You might have seen me doing these, a little accordion. Exhale, come up. We're just doing 3. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Last one, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Then we're back to holding our boat pose. It's going to get harder and harder progressively, so you can always change your mind with what you're doing. Make it harder or easier. Big breaths. Relaxing the face. Nice, powerful breaths. Shallow breaths. Feel your core working. Whoo! All right, let's go ahead and plant those hands. Tuck into a little ball. Pull your knees in and in. Here we go. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Okay, last round, okay? Breathe through it. I know this sucks a little bit. But our bodies will always outlast our minds. Believe me, I have this happen in the mountains all the time. I'm like, I can't fucking do this. I can't fucking do this. And then my body does it anyways. So we give up on ourselves far earlier than our bodies will ever give up on us. So meet yourself with your breath. Take a break if you need to. Come back in. All right, here we go. Plant those hands. Hug your knees in. Tight, tight, tight. Last 3 crunches. You got it. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Last one. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Oh my goodness, you did it. Roll all the way out onto your back. Reach those arms up overhead. Point through your toes. Arch your back. That made me sweaty as fuck. Sweaty. You can stay here, or if you'd like to get even more of a stretch, roll onto your belly and go ahead and press into a little bit of a back bend. Get your hip flexors a little bit. And you can always come into a gentle back bend, like Sphinx pose. Take some big deep breaths. Maybe take a nice gentle head roll while you're in your back bend. All right, gorgeous. Let's go ahead and come back onto our backs. Woo. Hug your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs and give yourself a big old squeeze. Rock a little side to side. Massage yourself out on the floor a little bit. And if you want, you can reach up. Kiss your knees. Tell your body you love her. She's so awesome and strong and resilient. Okay, so what do I want to do over here? I'm forgetting. Oh, I was gonna give you the option. We're gonna do pigeon first, but since we're on our backs, I'm gonna give some of you the option to do reclined pigeon. I loved reclined pigeon, even though I love regular pigeon too. So reclined pigeon, you just cross one ankle over the knee, you're gonna pick that foot up, and you're either gonna wrap around and hold on to your hamstring, or you're gonna wrap around and hold on to the front of your shin. You're just gonna slightly pull, and that will help open up that top hip. So option A is to do pigeon on your back. How about everyone just try that on each side just for like 3 breaths so you can feel what that feels like. Or if you would like to do full pigeon, make your way up to a seat. You can do a couple little rock and rolls if you want. I like to come into pigeon from hands and knees. I step 1 foot forward, and then I'll walk that foot off towards the opposite edge and set the knee down. And then I want to make sure my hips are nice and square. A lot of times in pigeon, our bodies want to do this because it feels less intense. I'm gonna really try to keep those hips square. And for a moment, let's push into the floor, coming into a slight back bend. So we're gonna squeeze our glutes so our hips stay glued to the floor, and then we're gonna press into the floor so we can open our chest away. Take some big breaths. And then go ahead and fold yourself down if you want a prop. I should have warned you before, but you can always have a prop for this one. I like to rest my chest on a prop. But that's where we are. I'm gonna start a timer if I can find my other, oh, it's right here. All right, now that we're nice and chilled out, in our pose, let's go ahead and really come back into that beautiful deep breath we worked on at the very beginning of practice. Pausing at the bottom of your exhale, squeezing out, emptying out, holding in that space of emptiness, and then deeply inhaling into the low belly, filling up, expanding, holding at the top of your inhale, sipping in extra amounts there, and then slowly exhaling. We now get to practice the art of presence in complete stillness, becoming that beautiful observer of self. No judgments, no attachments, no expectations, just coming into a space of noticing what happens when you sit in stillness, especially when you sit in stillness and in discomfort, what happens? And then keep deepening the breath and keep softening and letting go and surrendering to the pose. All right, my loves, slowly and gently make your way out of the pose. And do whatever feels good. You can shake it out. Be intuitive with your movement. Do whatever feels good coming out of that. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to do the other side. So we're going to step this other foot forward. Allow yourself to get set up. Find those nice square hips. And then come high on your fingertips once you feel like your legs are set up the way you want them. And then we're going to press into the floor, opening the chest up, rolling those shoulder blades back and down, letting our hip flexor open up a little bit as well. All right, beautiful. Now go ahead and slowly fold yourself over, coming into a relaxed version of the pose. Try to support your head or your forehead. Maybe stack one fist on top of the other. Just whatever feels best for you to chill out in the pose. And again, we now get to breathe and notice and soften. All right, beautiful work. Slowly and gently make your way out of this pose. Recover in whatever way feels good. And then make your way back onto your buns. Okay, so we're gonna do one more pose. I'm gonna let you choose. I would suggest you do a forward fold. So we either have straddle, butterfly, or caterpillar, both legs out, stretch long, as far as kind of like your quintessential forward folds. I always say try them all out, and whichever one you have the most resistance in, the most like discomfort in, is probably the one that you should choose. So give like a few breaths in each one. Straddle is always a juicy one for me, so. Once you have figured out where you want to be, I want all of us to go ahead and reach those arms out, around, and up, or keep them out to the sides, either or, and really engage through your upper back, okay? And we're gonna start to tilt forward, really focusing on pulling your belly button towards the earth, and then holding where you feel like you need to round out to keep going. So we're just gonna hold in that space for just a few breaths. Keep trying to pull that belly button down, but don't lose the length in the spine and engagement in your upper back. Okay, now go ahead and relax. Let everything just round out, chill, depending on where you are and what blocks you have. Again, if you can try to support your forehead so it's resting on something so you can fully relax, that's awesome. And I will start our timer and let you know when we're getting close to the end. So relax, surrender, soften, use that beautiful breath. We have about 30 more seconds See if you can relax and soften and let go even more. You can make some vibrational breaths. And deepen your breathing. Use our golden light visualization. Gorgeous work. Go ahead and slowly come up and out of that pose. Maybe shake your legs out if you were in a straddle. And then go ahead and meet me on your back. We're gonna close out. So once you're on your back, let's bring your heels in towards your glutes. Go ahead and press up into a nice bridge pose. Really use your glutes to press those hips up and open. And go ahead and drop it down. Let your knees come in towards the chest. Let your arms drop open to a T. Go ahead and roll those knees towards the screen. We can self-assist. Turn your chin away from the direction of your knees. Beautiful work. Let's go ahead and transition to the other side. Just let those knees gently roll to the other direction. Let your chin roll to the opposite side. All right, we're gonna roll back onto our backs. Few options, so you can just reach your feet up into the air for a second, kind of like grab behind your legs, or if you'd like to come into supported shoulder stand, getting those hips up into the air, creating a kickstand with your hands. Take a few breaths, just bringing your feet up above the level of your heart. And if any of you are in supported shoulder stand, you're welcome now to take this into plow pose. If your feet come in contact with the floor, keep them untucked so the tops of the feet are on the floor. And please be mindful of your neck. If any of this feels yucky on your neck, roll out of it slowly. I like to bend my knees and then just kind of guide my back down onto the floor, but come out of it whenever and however you would like. And then settle into Shavasana if you want to adjust your hair or your clothing. Now is the time to do that. You don't have to end in traditional Shavasana, but traditionally you're on your back, arms are stretched out long, palms facing up, legs taking up space. But this is your practice, so you can finish however you'd like. But once you are settled in your final pose, let's do 3 of those cleansing breaths. Big inhale through the nose. Pause for a moment, sip. Big heavy sigh out. 2 more of those. And once you've done those, allow yourself to then breathe naturally and normally, take rest and melt into the floor and drift away, and I will bring you back in just a few minutes. right, darlings. Slowly and ever so gently, start to deepen your breathing and bring your awareness back to the breath, and with that back to the body. And start to pull in just some really gentle movement, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, maybe gently nodding side to side. Maybe arching through the back, reaching your arms up overhead like a good morning stretch. And eventually, in your own time, find yourself on your right side, curling your knees in towards your chest, using your right bicep as a pillow to support your head. Coming into a comfortable fetal position. And taking a moment here to really drop in one last time before we enter back into our day. Take a moment to connect with how you're feeling. To notice any changes that have taken place since we started our practice together today. Just take a moment to recognize and acknowledge that you are responsible for all of that change, which means you can drop into this feeling, into this space of peace and calm within whenever you need it. Keeping your eyes closed, go ahead and push yourself up to a comfortable cross-legged seat. And when you're there, place your left hand over your heart and stack your right on top of the left. Take some few final breaths for yourself, sending thoughts and feelings of love and gratitude, compassion and kindness. It means a lot to carve out this time and to show up for yourself, so feel that. Then let's take a couple breaths, sending our attention outward to those in our lives that love, support, and inspire us. Send them some thoughts and feelings of love and gratitude, kindness, and compassion. Thank you all so much for being here and practicing with me today. The light, the strength, and the divine in me sees and deeply honors the light, the strength, and the divine in each and every one of you. Namaste.